Hey there, my friend. You won't believe the tale I'm about to spin. It's a spine-tingling story about an abandoned library, forgotten by time, but not by the restless souls that dwell within its dusty shelves. Picture this, an old, decrepit library, hidden away in the heart of a forgotten town. The place was a labyrinth of books, their spines cracked and pages yellowed with age. And for some reason, I found myself drawn to it, like a moth to a flame. My thoughts were racing. Why on earth am I here? I'm not even much of a reader. As I stepped through the creaking doors, the musty scent of old books enveloped me. The air was thick with nostalgia, and my mind was filled with memories of library visits from my childhood. What am I doing in this ghostly place? Did something compel me to come here? The library was a maze of towering bookshelves, their contents a cacophony of literary worlds. My thoughts were a jumble. Where do I even start? What could this place possibly hold that's worth exploring? As I wandered deeper into the library, the silence was deafening. My footsteps echoed through the dimly lit aisles, and I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched. My heart raced, and my mind was in turmoil. Is there someone else here with me, or is it just my imagination playing tricks? I picked a book at random, its leather-bound cover cracked and weathered. The title, The Tale of the Forgotten, caught my eye, and I began to flip through its pages. My thoughts were racing. What kind of story is this? Will it provide any clues about the library's secrets? But then, something extraordinary happened. As I read the words on the pages, they began to come to life, like a scene unfolding before my eyes. My mind was reeling. This can't be real. Books don't just happen like this. The characters from the story, their faces vivid and lifelike, emerged from the pages. I watched in awe as they stepped out of the book and into the library. My heart pounded, and my thoughts were a whirlwind of disbelief. Am I dreaming? Is this some sort of hallucination? The characters, each one unique, began to interact with me, as if I were a part of their story. They spoke of their world, their struggles, and their desires. My mind was captivated. This is unreal. I'm actually having a conversation with characters from a book. How is this possible? But here's the twist you didn't see coming. As I spent more time with the characters, I began to notice something strange. They seemed trapped, as if they couldn't leave the confines of the library. My thoughts were racing. What's going on here? Are they prisoners in this world of words? I delved deeper into the library, picking up book after book, and each one brought forth a new set of characters, each with their own story to tell. My mind was spinning. Are they all trapped in this place? And if so, why can't they leave? As I continued to explore, I realized that the characters from the books were fading away, becoming mere shadows of their former selves. My heart ached, and my thoughts were filled with sadness. What's happening to them? Why are they disappearing? The characters told me that they needed my help to break free from the library's grasp, to return to the worlds from which they had come. My mind was resolute. I can't just leave them here, trapped in this place. I have to find a way to set them free. With their guidance, I embarked on a quest to unlock the library's secrets, to find the key that would release the characters from their literary prison. My thoughts were focused. I can't let them down. I have to find a way to save them. But here's the twist you didn't see coming. Just as I was on the brink of uncovering the library's hidden secret, I realized the truth. The characters from the books were not the only ones trapped. I was too. My heart sank, and my mind was a whirlwind of panic. How did I become a part of this story? Is there no escape? As I struggled to find a way out, I discovered that the library itself was a sentient being, a guardian of the stories within its walls. It had trapped us all, feeding on the tales and the emotions of those who entered. My thoughts were racing. The library is alive. Is it some sort of malevolent entity, or just a misunderstood guardian of stories? With the combined efforts of the characters and myself, we confronted the library, pleading for our release. My heart pounded, and my thoughts were a maelstrom of hope and fear. Can we reason with this entity? Will it let us go? And then, in a flash of blinding light, the library relented, setting us all free. My mind was overwhelmed. Is it over? Are we finally free from this place? As I stepped out of the library, I couldn't help but feel a sense of loss. The characters, the stories, the entire world within those walls had become a part of me. My thoughts were a mixture of sadness and relief. I'll never forget this place, the characters, and the stories. They're a part of who I am now. And so, my friend, the abandoned library that once seemed like a dusty relic became a place of extraordinary adventure and discovery. It was a reminder that stories have the power to come to life, and sometimes the most unexpected twist can lead to the most unforgettable experiences. Hold on to your seats, because I'm about to take you on a journey into the heart of this abandoned library like you've never experienced before. Picture the entrance, a weathered wooden door creaking ominously as I pushed it open. The library loomed before me, a cavernous space filled with forgotten knowledge and secrets. The air inside was thick with the scent of aging books, a musty aroma that instantly transported me back to my childhood days spent in dusty libraries. My footsteps echoed on the faded carpet as I ventured further into the labyrinth of shelves. My fingers brushed against the spines of forgotten tomes, some so old that the titles had faded into obscurity. The silence was deafening, and the soft, muffled thump of my own heartbeat echoed in my ears. The dim light cast eerie shadows on the towering bookshelves, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. My thoughts raced. Is there something, or someone, lurking in the shadows, watching my every move? As I reached for a book on a high shelf, my fingers brushed against the cool leather binding of a particularly ominous-looking volume. The cover was adorned with faded, intricate patterns that seemed to writhe and twist as if alive. My heart quickened, and I couldn't resist the temptation to pull it free. The book was heavy in my hands, and its pages were brittle and yellowed with age. The title, The Haunting of Hollow Hill, was embossed in faded gold letters that seemed to shimmer in the dim light. My heart raced as I opened the book, and it was then that the world around me shifted. It was as if the ground had vanished beneath my feet, and I was plummeting into darkness. In an instant, I found myself standing in a dense, fog-shrouded forest, the world around me a grayscale blur of mist and shadow. My senses were overwhelmed as I took in the eerie surroundings. The cold, damp air sent a shiver down my spine, and the rustling of leaves and distant whispers filled my ears. The forest was silent, save for the faint, rhythmic sound of footsteps echoing in the distance. My thoughts whirled in confusion. Where am I? Is this some sort of lucid dream? Or have I truly stepped into the pages of the book? I had little time to ponder as I followed the sound of footsteps, my own heart pounding in my chest like a relentless drumbeat. The fog seemed to cling to me, its ethereal tendrils obscuring my vision. Every step felt surreal, as if I were wading through a world suspended between reality and fiction. The footsteps led me deeper into the forest, and as I ventured forth, the shadows seemed to grow more menacing, their elongated forms twisting and contorting like grotesque specters. My thoughts were a tempest of fear and uncertainty. Am I trapped in some sort of nightmare? Could this be a trick of my mind, or is there something more sinister at play? At last, the source of the footsteps revealed itself, an old, dilapidated mansion that stood on the edge of a clearing. Its towering facade was adorned with Gothic architecture, and its windows glistened with an eerie, ghostly light. I knew instinctively that I had to enter the mansion, just as the protagonist in the book had done. As I crossed the threshold, the atmosphere inside was suffocating, thick with the weight of centuries-old secrets. The air was stagnant, and the faint scent of decay lingered in every corner. My mind raced. This place is straight out of the book. Am I destined to follow the plot? And what horrors await me within these walls? I moved through the mansion's dimly lit corridors, my footsteps echoing on the cold marble floors. Flickering candles cast wavering shadows that danced across the walls, and the eerie whispers of long-forgotten voices seemed to echo in my ears. My heart pounded with each step, and my thoughts were a whirlwind of dread. I can't believe I'm living out the pages of this horror story. What role am I meant to play? As I explored further, the characters from the book came to life before my eyes, each one more unsettling than the last. They spoke to me, their voices filled with anguish and despair, revealing that they were trapped in a nightmarish loop, reliving the terrors of the story over and over. My mind raced. Is this my destiny, to free them from this living nightmare? Can I rewrite the story and change their fate? Together, we delved into the dark history of the mansion, unearthing its secrets and confronting the malevolent force that held the characters captive. The horrors we encountered were beyond anything I had ever imagined, and my thoughts were resolute. I can't let this nightmare persist. I have to rewrite the ending, no matter the cost. With the combined efforts of the characters and myself, we challenged the malevolent force, demanding our freedom. The mansion trembled, and the world around us shifted in a blinding explosion of light. My thoughts were a tempest of hope and fear. Is it over? Have we rewritten our fate? But here's the final twist. The moment of our supposed freedom, I was wrenched back into the abandoned library, as if the world itself had folded in on me. My heart sank, and my thoughts were a whirlwind of confusion. How did I return here? Was it all a dream, or have I truly altered the story? As I looked around, I realized that the library had transformed. The shelves that had once been laden with forgotten books were now brimming with vibrant, new tomes, their covers adorned with fresh illustrations and titles that beckoned me with promise. My mind was in turmoil. Did my journey through the book change this place? Has the narrative itself been rewritten? I reached for another book, hesitating for just a moment before opening its pages. My heart raced, and my thoughts were a tumultuous mix of curiosity and trepidation. Could it be? Am I about to be drawn into yet another story, a world of unknown horrors? And there you have it, my friend, a tale of an abandoned library that became a portal to the unknown, where I became the unwitting protagonist of a horror story. It raises questions about the power of stories and their ability to blur the line between reality and fiction. Who knows what awaits within the pages of the next book? You won't believe what happened to me in that brand new library, my friend. It was supposed to be a haven for book lovers, but it turned into a spine-tingling nightmare that I'll never forget. So let's dive into this story that starts with me, an ordinary guy, and a library that was anything but ordinary. I strolled into the library on a crisp autumn evening, just before closing time. The place was a marvel, a gleaming glass and steel structure that seemed to touch the sky. It was the kind of modern library that would make any bookworm's heart skip a beat. My thoughts were racing. What treasures could this place hold? And why was I so drawn to it? As I entered, the warm glow of the overhead lights enveloped me, and the scent of freshly printed books filled the air. Rows upon rows of shelves stretched before me, each one filled with books that seemed to beckon me closer. My mind was whirring. Where do I even begin? It's like a book lover's paradise in here. I lost track of time as I wandered the aisles, each step taking me deeper into the labyrinth of knowledge. My fingers trailed along the spines of new releases and classic novels, and I couldn't help but smile. My thoughts were a jumble. This place is a treasure trove of stories. I could spend hours here, but as the minutes ticked away, I realized I had overstayed my welcome. The library was closing, and the lights began to dim, casting eerie shadows across the shelves. Panic surged within me, and my thoughts raced. How did I lose track of time like that? I need to get out of here before they lock up. I rushed towards the exit, but it was too late. The heavy glass doors had already been sealed shut, trapping me inside. My heart pounded, and my thoughts were a whirlwind of anxiety. What am I going to do? I'm locked in. I tried to remain calm, telling myself that someone would come back to let me out. But as the minutes turned into hours, fear crept in. The library, once so inviting, now felt like a maze of shadows and secrets. My mind was racing. Why hasn't anyone returned? Did they forget about me? As I explored the dimly lit library, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. It was as though unseen eyes were watching my every move. My thoughts were filled with dread. Is someone or something else in here with me? I heard faint whispers and distant laughter, and my heart leaped into my throat. I followed the sounds, my footsteps echoing in the silence. My thoughts were a jumble of fear and curiosity. Who could possibly be in here at this hour? And why do their voices sound so distant? But here is the twist you didn't see coming. As I rounded a corner, I came face to face with a group of people, or so I thought. They were dressed in old-fashioned clothing, their faces pale and ethereal. My heart raced, and my thoughts were a maelstrom of confusion. Who are they? And what are they doing here? I approached them cautiously, my mind a whirlwind of fear and curiosity. They spoke to me, their voices soft and melancholic, sharing stories of another time, of lives lived long ago. My thoughts were racing. Are they reenactors? Or have I stumbled upon some strange historical gathering? But as they spoke, I realized the truth. These were not living, breathing people. They were spirits, trapped in this library, their stories forever bound to its walls. My heart sank, and my thoughts were a tempest of empathy and sadness. How did they end up here? And can I help them find peace? The spirits told me of their longing to move on, to find closure, and release from this eternal limbo. My mind was resolute. I can't leave them like this. I have to find a way to help them find peace and move on. With their guidance, we embarked on a quest to unravel the mysteries of the library, to uncover the events that had bound them to this place. My thoughts were focused. I can't let them down. I have to find a way to set them free. Together, we delved into the library's hidden past, unearthing long-forgotten secrets and confronting the malevolent force that had ensnared the spirits. The horrors we encountered were beyond anything I could have imagined, and my thoughts were a whirlwind of determination. I have to rewrite their fate, no matter the cost. And then, in a blinding burst of light, the spirits were freed. The library seemed to sigh with relief, and the shadows that had clung to the shelves began to recede. My mind was overwhelmed. Is it over? Have they finally found peace? As I stepped out of the library, I couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. The spirits were gone, their stories rewritten, and the library that had once seemed like a prison had transformed into a place of solace. My thoughts were filled with a mixture of sadness and relief. I'll never forget this place or the spirits. They've become a part of me now. And so, my friend, what was meant to be a visit to a new library turned into an extraordinary adventure, where I discovered that even in the darkest of places, there can be a glimmer of hope. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many stories are hidden within the walls of the places we visit every day, waiting to be heard and set free?